But first, Gene starts with a new horror film called The Awakening.
Well, to put it quite directly, The Awakening is a miserable ripoff of a very successful horror film from a few years ago called The Omen. This time, it's not the devil's son doing the damage, it's the reincarnation of an evil Egyptian queen. Now, Charlton Heston, who's made a lot of bad films recently, stars in The Awakening as a British archaeologist who finds a long-lost mummy queen. When he and his daughter go inside the queen's ancient burial tomb, strange things begin to happen. First, their guide disappears, and then Heston's daughter stumbles across the guide's lantern.
Father!
Yusuf!
He must have found a soda.
A what?
It's a sort of secret inner shrine. There's quite often one. We looked here too, but we never found it.
There's a mark in the dust. Father.
Yes. I suppose possibly the 7 stars. The ritual talks of 7 stars. God.
What a ham-bone picture. That's incredibly phony stuff. First of all, the walls look like they've just been freshly frescoed. And isn't it amazing how the guide and Heston found that secret button after it has eluded generations of searchers for 4,000 years? Right away they find it. Later in the film, Heston tells his assistant and his new wife, played by Susanna York, to destroy the mummy's possessions that he's been keeping in their house. Heston feels a spell coming on.
Do something for me, quickly, before I change my mind. I'm frightened. There's a spare key to my safe, taped under the middle drawer in the bedroom. Take it and smash the canopic jars. Do it.
Now, the payoff at the end of this ridiculous film is when Heston's daughter, who supposedly is the queen reincarnated, turns on him. But as soon as she does, the movie ends in a flash, presumably to set up some kind of sequel. But if all of us across this great land of ours pull together, we can wipe out any chance of there being a sequel to The Awakening. All we have to do is not go to the original.
Gene, I wish I'd voted for you. I really agree with your platform. This movie is ridiculous. You're right. The Omen at least had some sort of small, slight patina of scientific background to kind of give it an excuse for existing. This movie, The Awakening. Now, I never took archaeology in college, but even on the basis of having leafed through a couple of back issues of National Geographic, I know that when you find a 4,000-year-old tomb that hasn't been disturbed for 4,000 years, what you don't do is try to open it up with a sledgehammer and get in a crew of laborers with pickaxes to dig at it, and that's what this movie does. It's totally laughable.
Seriously, I mean, other than being a joke of a film, I question what Heston is doing in a picture like this. Here's a guy who's has been at least a leading actor. I don't know why he makes junk like this. He now has 2 awful films this year. He had one of those westerns, what was that called?
Mountain Men.
The Mountain
Right.
Men, that stunk. And now this film. And both films really look like they're come from the 50s, real old-fashioned dumb movie making. So he ought to wise up a little
I'll
bit.
tell you, they're having these festivals of the worst movies of all time. I think Heston has just found himself a niche in that revival circuit
I think so.
permanently. Right.
Let's get to something better.
Okay.
Roger and I both hated The Awakening, the dumb Charlton Heston mummy movie. It's positively one of the year's worst. The no next door name means we cannot recommend you see The Awakening.